Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Great to have you back on this Thursday morning. It is here anyway. First night of night shift. Obviously, would have missed me yesterday. That's the one day a month we have that little issue. It's just that time change. Let's just call it time zone issue with the shift change from day shift to night shift. But there's been a lot happen in that last 24 hours since we last talked, so I'm going to try and get straight into it. Just briefly touch on the My Road Reel video is going really well. I finished the main video yesterday. I spent a bit of time on it once I woke up and after having some sleep, and I'm now into the behind the scenes video, which is the other portion of the contest. So you need the main video and then you need the behind the scenes. So I've got the main one fully done and dusted. I'm pretty chuffed about it. I think it's come up really good. Fingers crossed. We'll see how we go. Get this. I just got to finish off the behind the scenes. Once that's all done, which I should have by the weekend, then I'll be putting them both up live and getting it all linked into the road site so I can get ready for voting, and fingers crossed we have a win. Oh, you never know. You never know. Rightio, let's get straight into this because I've got a ton. It's been a massive. There's some huge stuff I want to talk about. First of all, on the Canon side, just come out just before I sort of come home. I got a quick message and I seen that from Canon Rumors. This is a CR3, so it's as good as it gets, as close as it gets to real and from Canon. So it's fairly sort of confident with this one. 1DX Pro mirrorless camera to come out in 2021, second half. Obviously, basically, so take the 1DX Mark III, turn that into a Pro mirrorless camera. They're saying it's going to be possibly should be a new sensor. It won't be the same sensor as the 1DX is using now, but it's going to be obviously similar sort of form factor, similar sort of robust, bulletproof build. All those amazing things that the 1DS range is renowned for, that I've had. My 1DS that I had for a short time was just amazing in the hands. It's like you can definitely feel the difference with those Pro cameras. It makes a massive difference. Obviously a lot heavier, but you can just feel that you just feel so confident chucking it in your bag, or if it's raining, just pulling out because you know it's not going to get hurt by it. So look, that's going to be huge. At the same time, this is probably not as heavy a rumor and there was no sort of grading on it, but Sony Pro mirrorless camera in the first quarter of next year. Some of the specs were sort of thrown out there. 8K, yeah, again, another 8K camera. No thermal issues was put in the notes, so that was quite funny. And yeah, so a whole new sensor for that one, away from the A7S III, which is strange because that A7S III is just a remarkable camera. It's hard to imagine how they're going to improve on that. I'm assuming if they're going to go Pro, you could pretty much put something similar to like the A7R4, so it's going to probably be something like that sensor into a solid, robust, fully weather sealed body, something along those lines. Because that A7 IV is that larger sensor. It's obviously not as good as the video for the A7S III, but I'd imagine they must have a new sensor there, which is probably going to be around the 40 to 50 megapixel range or something along those lines. So that's going to come out first. So we should be getting the Pro Sony first. They're going to beat Canon out to it, but the Canon is pretty much a definite that it will be coming second half, and that's pretty much all. We'll hear more down the track, but they are coming. I think that's been talked about for a long while, so pretty cool. Right, Apple Mini. They had the Mini iPad there for a while. Well, they're saying the naming rights, the new rumor is that the smallest iPhone 12 that's coming out this year is probably going to be called the iPhone Mini. That's the 5.4 inch, so it goes to 5.4 inch and the 6.1 inch 12, then the 6.1 inch 12 Pro, then the 6.7 inch Pro Max. So the Mini's they're gonna give that the Mini moniker, and I guess it's obviously a marketing thing, and I think it's probably not a bad thing. Boys a little later along those lines as well, that it's probably more so for marketing. You got a mini, it's easy to discern that you've got the small one, which is the mini, so that's pretty cool. And they've already got the naming rights there, so they should be pretty cool. Now, OnePlus Nord came out a while ago. It was a massive hit for them. A budget-conscious phone with some good specs. Did really, really well. They marketed it very well. Well, they've got a new phone coming out. Again, the Android phone list this year has just been crazy. It's like at least 1 to up to 2 phones a week, brand new releases for Android. It's you really do have a lot of options on that side of the plate. I've gotta tell you. It's very cool, and it's going to have a fair bit of premium stuff. Now, they do have a Pro version, the OnePlus Pro 8 Pro. Now, Lou from Lou Later on Unbox Therapy was saying it doesn't know where this sort of one fits, because you've got the Pro, which has got all the top specs, but this one they're saying is probably going to have the 865 plus Snapdragon, 120 hertz display, a 65 watt supercharger, basically all the bells and whistles in this thing. And yeah, it's weird sort of where it's going to sit. They've got the Nord, and then you've got this thing which looks like it's out of control over the top. Even the CEO of Nord has said this is going to be pretty special, and it's going to have some things in it that you haven't seen before. So maybe the Pro's going and the T's going to be the top of the line. I'm not sure, but look, if it's got all that stuff, they did a good job with the Nord, and that was a really good quality phone. So I'm sure this one's good there. So if you're a OnePlus fan, October the 14th is the show, so that's probably not far away. Again, we've got some more. October's going to be a big month for tech, because we're sort of probably about a month to month and a half behind. So October, we're going to be going crazy for the next month, easy on tech. So watch out for that one. Microsoft has bought ZeniMax Media. Now, that's a game company. It's cost them $7.5 billion. Now, Microsoft were in the market there for TikTok for a while. They pulled out, whatever reasons, didn't really suit their needs, either end, I'm not sure. But now ZeniMax owns a few different gaming companies, including some PlayStation gaming companies. Some big games you might have heard of: Fallout, Doom, Elder Scrolls. So big sort of a deal, this one. Some massive moves in that part. Microsoft's now obviously exports, and now this is going to allow them access to get possibly some exclusive games into the Xbox system. And having companies also that in the PlayStation arena, it's sort of a bit of a hedge the bets a bit too. So pretty cool, good bit of diversity play from Microsoft in the gaming sector. I don't think it's a bad move. Very probably profitable one. If they get a couple of hits, it's pretty good. It's like a movie, I guess. It's got a lot of outlay to start, but your returns, if you do get a hit on your hands, you can get some massive returns over 1 or 2 or 3 franchise games. You might make a couple of $1 billion. So I think it's not too bad and pretty smart from them. Be interesting to see what they do with it and how they bundle it up. I think they said their online gaming thing, like the PlayStation Store, is going to give them access to these games now. So that'll all be part of it. So that's pretty cool. Now, Oculus 2, we did talk about the new Oculus 2 headset. That's the VR headset. Facebook bought Oculus. We talked the other day about how Zuckerberg is right into his VR and AR and all that sort of stuff. Well, they've just announced that they're going to have this new update to this virtual office. So basically, when you have your goggles on, instead of having a screen or your laptop as per se, that will be a thing of the past. That's what they're saying. You'll have the headset, you'll put it on with your gloves, and there'll be a virtual keyboard, and you can sit there and type. You'll have a screen in your reality, so you might be able to see the rest of your room, but there's your 16-inch screen, whatever. You probably can denote whatever screen size you want, and then while you're in your goggles, you can see on the screen and type in the air. So you'll look like this in your room. If someone walks in, you'll look pretty funny, actually. You'll be actually hilarious walking in some room with goggles on, going like this and moving a fake mouse around. But that's what the Oculus thinks is the way of the future. They're already talking about adding your own furniture into the system, loading up your own furniture to make you feel at home and make it feel more, I guess, relaxing to the user. That's a huge thing. Pretty crazy to think we're going that way. I think I've said to you a while back that I think virtual reality and augmented reality, and Apple's made a massive play on this with those LiDAR sensors on their iPads and their iPhones are a big thing, and that all is to do in regards to augmented reality and virtual reality. I think it's in the next 10 years, this is going to be a big deal. Like electric cars are now, I think augmented reality VR is the way forward. I actually still think that this PlayStation and the micro Xbox will probably be the last consoles you'll buy. I don't think they'll be selling an actual physical box from here on in. I think you'll see PlayStation and Microsoft, if they're smart, they will be moving into the VR world with the next series. That will be your next console. Will be just put a helmet on and just go off into Doomland and shoot, or race cars in a seat with the helmet on. So I think that's the way of the future. I don't think it's that far away. As I said, next 10 years, I don't think that's too big of a timeline to sort of dream about, but I still reckon that these will be the last gaming consoles you'll ever see. And it looks like the last computers you'll ever see they're already planning to get rid of computers completely. It'll all be in here you'll have the computer box, but it'll be connected to your headset wirelessly or whatever. And yeah, pretty wild, isn't it? Now, Sims, on the fishing side, I'd probably a little bit lazy on that side, and I apologise to you guys originally that watched me from the fishing team days, but I do get in there. I do try and watch a little bit when I can, but I'm I guess I get caught up in my photography a little bit. But I did see this. I'm still watching the stuff, and if I see something I like, I'll definitely give it a shout out. Now, Sims, which are a big fishing name, they do a lot of great clothing and outerwear and stuff like that for wet weather and winter stuff. So pretty cool. They've just brought out a new travel bag system. It's called the Gear Transport System, or GTS. Now, the main model of that is the 110 litre roller bag. It's pretty exy, like it's $400 US, so it's going to be $500-600 mark. But if you're doing a lot of fishing trips and probably a lot of other things, the big feature I did like about it, it's basically a roller bag with an arm up, and then the duffel bag will slide on over the bars. The fishing rod holder, which is for your collapsible fishing types, that's a nice solid box that you can put your reels in as well. They've done it's a really well-made system, and it'll all interconnect, so you can basically have the roller bag, a duffel bag on top, your rod's clipped onto the main roller bag, and then you can go to the airport and check it all in and stuff like that. But the main one was it splits into the main bag, and you've got obviously an area where you can put your Sims little small bags, your pouches and packing boxes. They can go in, but there's a separate section which is basically waterproof. So wet weather gear, stinky old wet fishing clothes. Like normally go for a week when you're fishing. Where do you put those stinky, filthy, blood-coated from the fish and crap stuff? Now you've got a wet weather bag built into your bag. So brilliant idea. I haven't seen that before, and that's why I wanted to give it a shout out. So if you're doing a fair bit of travel for your fishing, and instead of taking a bloody garbage bag and having to chuck those filthy clothes in there, and this is now a really good opportunity to get a good bag that is going to last you a while, and it's going to be easy because you can just unzip it, fold it open, get your dirty stuff out, and give it a clean and wipe or a spray and wipe, and wipe it all down. Beautiful, tickety-boo. So I think that's really, really good, and it was definitely worth a shout out. So go check that out. That's available now on Sims, and you can see the whole gear transport system in there, the packing boxes and the whole lot. It's all really well made, as per normal. They're a really good company, so you'll definitely do you well. Now, YouTube's added, of course, more restrictions in. It seems to get harder and harder. And yet again, this one's another one that's, there's no definition on it. There's no locked, hard, solid line, and that's, I guess, the only question I have with it. And it's to do with age restrictions for videos and stuff. So that's out. It's well, it basically came in, I think, yesterday or something, and it's already, they'll be starting to market. It's leaving the robots to discern if your video needs to be age restriction, and that basically it's all about swearing and language or clothing or sexy time or whatever you want to have on your videos. If you've got any of that in there, you now sort of can go up to chance where it can be basically marked as age restricted, and you can lose views. Now, for the channels that make money, obviously we're not there yet, but there's obviously a lot of channels, and you could be talking about news, you could be talking about fashion with ladies that wear bikinis, and all the fashion stuff is now deemed as too sexy for YouTube. Or your music videos. Well, music videos was mentioned a lot in the comments. Was like, hey, there's no way those MIDI videos are ever going to get money because they're well over, or otherwise it's just not fair for everyone if they do get in. So it's pretty sort of, there was no cut and dry answer, and the guy, when he talked about it, he literally said, "Oh, look, it's a reasonably fair system. It should work itself out." It's like, yeah, well, that's no good if you're making a living off this. You need to have, if you've got people's livelihoods are at stake here, and it might not be much money, but like even $50 or $100 a week, if you're making that off it, that's still money that goes back to your business or into what you love. So I think they need to be careful here if they're just going to making up rules that basically you don't know if you're going to be good or bad. It's really not clear. So keep an eye out for that one. I'm assuming we're going to get a heap of people that get blocked and stuffed, and we'll start hearing a little bit more about that as it comes through. Now, Apple leaks Apple Pro over from Twitter, chucked up last night. There's an ARM 13.3-inch MacBook Pro, codenamed the J223, 3072 by 1920 display, 8GB RAM starting point, SSD starting point of 256 gig. They don't know what the processor is, about $1,200 US. The announcement, mid-November this year. So the first ARM MacBook Pro, which is that 14-inch range, I'm assuming they're going to call it the 14-inch. 13.3, so it's bigger than a 13. Well, I'm assuming that's what they're going to run. Battery life, they're saying 12 hours, and the bezel's way thinner than what you normally see on the Mac. So it's still a little bit thick up the bottom and then down the bottom. So, and this is the 16, it's pretty much as current as you can get. So that's going to be pretty, this is that first ARM one. There was we heard the sort of rumors there was something possibly coming this year. It sounds like mid-November we're going to have a display maybe at the iPhone event. They say one more thing. That might be the one more thing, the first ARM laptop. We'll see, I guess. So that's I haven't heard of this guy before. I've heard of him before, the Leaks Apple Pro, but I'm not sure how good it is, how close to the mark. But there's a lot of specs which sound reasonable. Whether he's having a really good guess, or November we could have the changing of the guard coming through for Apple. Right now, last but not least, is the biggest one of the day, Tesla Battery Day. We knew it was coming up. I figured we were going to get a few answers on why their share price had gone through the roof. And can I say, after watching it, it was pretty bloody amazing what that guy can do. Elon Musk and his team are just geniuses as far as I'm concerned. They have, done so well, and there's so much more to come from it. Just brilliant. Put it into basic terms, they have basically cut the costs of making the cars and the batteries in half. So over the next 18 months to 3 years, they said they can implement all these changes. They'll cut the cost of per kilowatt hour. Cost per kilowatt hour will come down by, I think it was 56%. 56% reduction in 18 months to 3 years, which is just insane. Now, doing this, one of the major things they did doing this, they've completely redesigned their batteries. So your normal battery has a tube battery, and it's got a little tab that goes down into the cell. Power comes out of that cell. Basically, all they've done is, instead of having one tab, there's endless amounts of tab, like a seashell I guess like a round seashell or a flower petals around. By doing that, they've reduced all the heat out of taken all the heat out of the battery, increased the power speed to get the speed in and out of the battery. Just ridiculous. And they've learned how to make the batteries out of silicon, which is sand. So they've taken cobalt out of the batteries. They can make the batteries out of sand. This new massive technology how to make these batteries with zero heat now, so they can supercharge these batteries in like 10 to 15 minutes. No more hours sitting at the truck stop having a dodgy meat pie. Brilliant stuff. So it's going to have 5 times the energy, 6 times the power, and 16% increase in range from what they've done with these batteries. Just insane, crazy stuff. Now, their plan by 2022 is to have 100 gigawatts. So they're gigawatt factories that they're building. That's where they build all these battery factories. By 2022, they want 100. And by 2030, he reckons it's real. He said this is sort of feasible, but he thinks he could be able to do it early. They want up to 3,000 gigawatts. And they're going to do that because they've worked out how to do these batteries. It's easier to do. It's faster. They can make these batteries faster than the old batteries because having the tab in there was a pain in the butt. Now the way they can do it now is heaps faster for the build, better for the automated process of making the battery, cheaper. Everything in it is good. So it's a matter of getting the machines built to make the machines to make these batteries and get them out. It's going to be heaps quicker. So huge news on that department. So now, and the other part of it is they're using raw nickel. So currently, when they get the nickel, say from a mine site, like where I'm working, we process iron ore. So our company actually has a big nickel mine as well. So they want to increase in nickel. So nickel production is going to go. They want that to expand exponentially as fast as possible by the miners. But the beauty of it is they don't need the nickel process. Currently, you get nickel, you process it with acid, makes a liquid. The liquid goes off. They mix the liquid with water and something else to get the whatever they need out of it, and then they put that into a battery to make the battery. Tesla's developed a way to basically say, well, we don't need the acid, we don't need that, we don't need all that water and all this time and effort. All we want you to do is ship us the nickel. You get the nickel out of the ground, you ship it directly to us. We can make a battery without cobalt, put this nickel in, and we only need a little bit of water, and there's no waste products anymore coming out of the nickel. Hello, friends. That is friggin' awesome. As a person who enjoys the environment and person in mining and see both sides of the things, just cutting out that whole process is just insane. That is a massive deal. That reduces the production costs for the miners because no longer have they basically just got to get it out of the ground, get it on a truck, and just ship it straight to Tesla. That's it. Now, where Tesla is going to have this nickel coming in so they can make the batteries, they're also going to have the lithium coming in because they've done the same thing for lithium, and they're going to do exactly that. Now, they've worked out there's lithium basically everywhere. There's enough on the planet 10 times over or 1,000 times over to make all the car batteries they need. So they're pretty confident they're going to basically build these battery factories that make their own batteries and out of the nickel and the lithium in every one of their gigafactories. They'll just be connected as a separate department of the gigafactories. So just insane, crazy stuff. Wild. These people at Tesla, if the whole company deserves a bloody Nobel Prize for just being trick dudes. That's just awesome. What else do we say? And that's about it. A bit on the tech side. So look, they're saying that they need 20 terawatts, that's the one, 20 terawatts to completely get rid of all machinery, basically oil-based power plants, whatever. They can go to full sustainable energy once they get 20 terawatts. part of that stage, getting the 20 terawatts, is making enough batteries that then, because of the systems they've created, these batteries now are fully recyclable too. So you then get enough batteries in the system that the batteries that when they go to get recycled, they come back to make the new batteries, and you just get a loop. So you don't need to mine anymore. Again, another wow. So look, if you got time, sit down and watch it. It is an amazing thing to sit there. You don't, and they explain it really, really well. For a genius, sometimes he can be a little bit confusing, but he's got another guy there with him, and he jumped in and helps out. It's really, really worthwhile if you're an investor or interested in where you want to put your money in the future. Definitely have a look at this. There's a few options there, a few ideas of where you could go. Definitely nickel, silicon for sand. It's just amazing things. Now, the last but not least is they've just released, or basically it's an upgrade, the new Plaid. Comes from Spaceballs. If you know the history of Tesla and Elon and naming stuff, Plaid was like beyond super fast on Spaceballs, the movie. If you haven't seen Spaceballs, the movie, you need to go watch that to understand Elon and Tesla. It's quite funny. But Plaid is the new upmarket for the Model S. Now, this is just insane. It's available in Australia too. It is very expensive. Let me tell you the price first. $272,286 drive away, but that's pretty much with all the fruit. I just did a quick build, so that was pretty cool. Great to see you can actually get a drive away price off a car thing in Australia. That's normally unusual. Now the Plaid Model S, 1100 horsepower equivalent, 9-second quarter mile, 0 to 60, world's fastest, 2.1 seconds. 320 k's an hour, 200 miles an hour, 320 k's an hour, with a range of 840 kilometers. Thank you very much. Fastest production car ever. Did a Laguna Seca in 1:30. This thing is insane. If you've got the money, if you want a sports car, Tesla's got you covered. Now, the other thing is I did miss one, is 25. They are envisaging in the next maybe 3 to 5 years that they'll be releasing or be able to release a sub $25,000 car, fully electric, fully autonomous on the road. So that's pretty insane. 25 is probably about 35 to 40 Australian. Check all their crappy taxes. 50 to 60. Actually something sort of entry level for us electric car, so that's really cool. So hopefully that's gets cheaper because we can get maybe some tax credits off it, so get that tax off it. But that's just insane. That Plaid S is just ridiculous. That's like 9-second quarter miles, man. That's it. I think when you have sub 10 seconds at the drags, don't quote me, I think you have to have a roll bar from memory. So I'm not sure. Maybe those rules have changed in the drag racing, but there's got a production car now, 9-second quarter mile, straight out of the factory, fully electric, no engine. Wow, insane. And 800 k's, so you can drive halfway to, or 3/4 of the way to Alice Springs and still do 9-second quarter miles. Wow. And that's about it. Huge show. Look, if you've got some spare time this weekend, go and watch that video on Tesla. It's pretty cool. If you're into tech or into electric cars or into the future of cars, it's pretty much, he says it straight away. And someone asked him the question, what's the future of ICEs, which is internal combustion engines? And he said, there is no future. They're dead. They're gone. They won't be around for long. They'll be just in a museum, and that'll be the only reason we need them, but they are finished. And that's straight from Elon, and I cannot put that against him. He has been pretty much on a roll for the last few years, and this just shows that he is just going up and up and up. Rightio, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you all again, and I'll see you all again for tomorrow's show, the end of the week. Rightio, wherever you're coming, you're going, I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.